So this is a event, 1 Million Cups. We're here every Wednesday at the deck. It's an all-volunteer run event. So myself and the team, you'll see Isabel, Sauger, Devin, Michael is in the back running video. So we're all here every Wednesday to put on this event for the community. And it's really a great opportunity to get plugged into Dallas. So at this event, we basically invite 2 entrepreneurs each week to share about 5 or 6 minutes of their story up on stage. And then after that, audience gets about 15 minutes for Q&A with each presenter. So it's pretty awesome. We do this every Wednesday. We've had probably now hundreds of startups that have been on this stage for this event over the last 5 years. So if you're interested in getting involved with the event, just come up and talk to one of us afterwards. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, that's a little bit of the history. You know, 1 Million Cups has been around since 2012 and is now in, about 100 cities. Yeah, we need to update that graph to 2018. But yeah, it's in about 100 cities now in the U.S. So I also like to encourage that if you're traveling out of town and you're there on a Wednesday, this event will be happening in most major cities in the U.S., so it's a good one to check out. We do have an app, so please find the app on your smartphone. It's called 1 Million Cups. I think that's, yeah, it's called 1 Million Cups. It's pretty awesome. You can actually see what's coming up next week, who's presenting, and you can even leave feedback and connect with the other attendees that way. So, without further ado, here's the presenters that we have today. First, we're going to hear from Jakayla from Feel the Color, and then we're going to hear from John with Blockit. And basically, we're really excited to have them both here. It's their first time, I think, at 1 Million Cups for both of them. And yeah, so we want to make them feel right at home. We'll give them a big round of applause when they come up. And yeah, I think with that, we'll go ahead and kick it off, and then we'll give a shout out to all the sponsors at the intermission in between. So yes, let's all stand up, give a round of applause for Jakayla as she comes up on stage.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jakayla Dixon, and I'm the founder, president, and CEO of Feel the Color. Now, did you know that there are over 253 million people worldwide who are blind and or visually impaired? 39 million of those people are blind, and 10 million of those people who are visually impaired live in the United States. Texas has the second largest amount of visually impaired individuals out of the entire 50 states in the United States. And 75,000 people each year will become blind or visually impaired. Now, one superstition amongst the visually impaired is that all blind people know Braille. And I'm here to break that. About only 8% of people who are blind know Braille. Majority of them are auditory readers or they know symbols. So here's our problem. There is no product that strives to serve people who are visually impaired and or blind. And specifically in the fashion industry, there is nothing to help people who are visually impaired to show them that this is red, this is green, this is blue. And somebody invented the stove and then think, hey, there's going to be a blind person who needs to use the stove. How will they know what temperature to cook their food at? So this is what Feel the Color is here to do. Feel the Color is a company that creates embroidered fabric tags of Braille, alphabet lettering, and symbols so that those who are visually impaired can literally feel the color of their clothing. Feel the Color was inspired by my blind aunt who lost her eyesight over 20 years ago due to a bad eye surgery. She would always ask me, Caleb, what color is this? So seeing her struggle, it inspired all of this. It inspired Feel the Color. Now, Feel the Color has new plans for the 2018 year. New year, new Feel the Color. We're hoping to attract so much capital to better our mission of single road where the visually impaired community all. We're hoping to gain over $50,000 in capital that will be able to be used in our manufacturing for our marketing strategies. And we want to market by going to these designers and telling them, this is something you need. This is something that will help the world and help those who are visually impaired better themselves and become more independent. Our corporate social responsibility is to teach the visually impaired independent living skills. We will go out to their houses, go out to places where they're specifically at to tell them, you can iron on these tags, you can sew these tags into your clothing, you can stitch them on, so that they will be able to lead a life where the visually impaired can do all. Now, we have obtained so many awards and accolades throughout the 2017 year, and we're hoping to obtain so many more. We recently just got an award last year on this exact date from the mayor of Fort Worth, Ms. Betsy Price, who honored us with the Danny Scarf Award, which honors a person who strives to make opportunities better for those who are visually impaired. I recently just got back from New York, where we were on PBS to talk about the company and talk to other students in America about the importance of entrepreneurship. We have gotten awards from my local school district because I'm only 16 and I'm still in high school. So we've gotten so many awards from them, and we're honored to say that there are so many opportunities for Feel the Color, and this is a product that many people need and could be so useful in today's market. Thank you. Make sure you follow us at Feel the Color. There goes all the
Before we open the question and answer session for the public, the first question always is, what can we as a community do for you?
Okay, so like I said, I'm only 16, so I love getting people on the team, being able to help me, give advice, asking me different questions so that I can better this company and better myself to make the world better for people who are blind and visually impaired.
Yeah, I think your concept has, Now, my name's Andrew. I think the concept has enormous implications for the people who are affected by this. But I'm wondering whether you're using the right technology to solve the problem. I would have thought that since colour is a visual radiation effect, there should be some way of you create an app where it's not available with phone technology, some kind of separate device that's even smaller that will audibly read in the colour. People here who are programmers will tell you that there's 32 million colours in the standard computer representation of colours. So red isn't clear because it can be so many things. You can end up dressed like me. You can just go by colours. So an audible reader will give an alternative about how to report the information. Also, don't worry about the fact you're still in school. You won't learn anything in school. The poor people who were in school, there you go. The poor people who were in school, they're pushing supermarket carts down the street here. So keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And I forgot to mention, and I always do this, the company currently has 5 patents. So what you just mentioned, we actually have a patent for that, and that's something that we're looking to expand into.
Hi, what is the fashion industry's response?
So her question was, what was the fashion industry's response? And I've talked to so many local fashion designers, and I've also talked to well-known fashion designers to ask them about how this product would benefit their market. And they're all on board because this is something that has never been done before in the fashion industry. And this is something that could increase their sales and increase their reputation to show that they're on a mission to help those who are visually impaired.
So let's turn it on. So I can just do this.
No, that's okay. Here. You can ask.
Okay, so one I would like to say the tech has like some purpose for people that with that visual issue is that they can recognize a piece really quickly without relying on another device. I think that's a value in it already. Why I wonder how do we define what's the useful, what's the end goal for the user in this case? I just wonder how to make sense of everything, because one thing, it's great to know what that piece is, but in the end, if what they want is that it's a coordinated the outfits for the day, would that be an end goal that should be solved by a device and an app that will tell them, okay, these two bits, there's so many blues, there's so many greens, right? I think that may be something that you want to look into.
Okay, so you mentioned that. And here's one of the things, we're also looking into adding a color wheel so that people will be able to coordinate the colors. Like we should tell them, don't wear pink and red together. There are some colors that should not be mixed together. So one of our things is to include a color wheel so they'll be able to identify, okay, I can wear these jeans pants with this white shirt, or I can match these colors together, and they will offset each other very well. And I looked into the technology piece of it, including the app, because that's something people will always mention to me. So that's why we covered the patents for the technology also piece of it.
I think there's a lot of possibilities with AI, and there's a lot of being used on the web. Is how or app that is like color coordination. I think there's a lot of things you can extract in that technology already.
So I think we've heard a lot about like the aspirations for your company and the niche that it seeks to fill. But like, what exactly is your business strategy? Is it making manufacturing these patches and selling it to, or licensing it to fashion industries, or what exactly is your business strategy? What are your costs? Where you're looking to expand, things like that.
So talking about manufacturing and my strategy. So for the manufacturing piece of this, I don't know if you've heard, but there's an organization called Lighthouse for the Blind. And so Lighthouse for the Blind they provide jobs for people who are visually impaired. So our goal was to sign an agreement with Lighthouse for the Blind so that the visually impaired will make a product for themselves. And we'll be providing the visually impaired with the job and doing different opportunities to strengthen the economic wealth of those who are visually impaired. So that's the one piece of manufacturing for us. And then our business is sign licensing agreements with people in the fashion industry and their manufacturers and the designers to sign agreements so our tags will be placed in the clothing and the visually impaired can go shopping and do things that they've never been able to be done before. And that's one of our biggest goals for this company, especially since it's being so close to home for me, is to be able to provide the visually impaired with an opportunity that they've never had before. So we really want to hone in on the fashion industry and tell them this is something that you need and this is something you should be a part of.
First of all, great job. If you're 16 and have just great names, so good job, well done. My question was, did you say before you have 5 patents?
Yes, sir.
Did you acquire those? Did you make your own patents? Is this for your company?
They're my own patents. When I first started this company, I started it last year during my sophomore year of high school. And I went through an organization called Junior Achievement. So Junior Achievement gives high school students the opportunity to start a company and then go run the company for an entire school year, and then we have one big competition. So I actually started my company with JA, and they have a board member, and one of the board members is on the board of Rick Phillips, and he ended up doing the patents for me in my name, and he completed all 5 of them free of charge. So then after we did that, we did the patents, and that's when I fully launched the product. So it went from going into a school company for junior achievement to actually becoming a full company this school year for our junior year, which was August. So that's the beginning of this company without it being a part of junior achievement.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Congratulations. I'm just wondering, have you talked to Fashion Group International by any chance, or are you familiar with them?
No, ma'am, I've never heard of it.
No. So it is the major national association for fashion, manufacturing, design, and so forth. They have different chapters. Dallas is a really strong chapter, and I'm happy to make an introduction because I think that would be at least a great,
So,
yeah, to start getting into more of the fashion industry so that you can accomplish your goals.
thank you, I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Anyone got questions?
We still got time for a couple more.
Well, how much funding do you have?
We currently went through a crowdfunding where we went through, we set up a crowdfunding page. So if you go to our website, there is a crowdfunding website. But that's one of the big things we've struggled with at the beginning was getting investors and making a way to get the large amount of investing that the company that is needed for the company.
How much are you looking for, and have you presented to any of the angel capital groups in town?
I haven't presented to any of the capital groups in town, but one of the big things we were looking into is starting pitch competitions and doing different pitch competitions, but looking into accelerate the program and for the company.
Should I give a suggestion for the couple things I noticed about the NAC. One is that early on when it was mentioned about 270 million people that have the visual issue, is I would say make it more tangible, maybe by saying that 1 out of something, because I have no idea if that number is beautiful. So that will help you to create the impact to people. There's someone around you that might have that issue quite easy. And the other thing would be there's some slides that have a lot of content. I was trying to read, I cannot finish the slide by the time you go for the next one. So for the slide that you go on stage, make sure that it's really simple. We are not here to read slides, but it would be great for us to see some keywords so that we can remember a bit of the content that relate to the talk and make it much more impactful. Thank you.
Should I just, I think I can project it pretty loud. So I guess my biggest question about all of this is how much would it cost for a fashion house or a label to implement it versus what their potential market value would be to that? Because I mean, I don't want to say that the percentage of Americans is small that can buy from certain labels that would make this worth it for a fashion label, but have you done the math to see?
That's something that I'm still researching and looking into fashion houses that will specifically meet the needs of those who are visually impaired. And one of the things we talked about at the beginning was starting a fashion line specifically dedicated for people who are visually impaired. So being in control of all that, but I haven't specifically researched into the cost of all that, but I've researched the wealth of those who are visually impaired and the salaries and things that they can afford and things that they can't afford to set the prices on the tags and talking to people in the fashion industry saying, okay, we have a set limit because we have to see what their median salary is and how much they make and their job opportunities for them.
And then I guess a follow-up to that is, have you ever looked into puff screen printing technique? Because I feel like they could serve as a braille pattern almost.
We've looked into screen pattern. I actually have sample tags in my bag over there if you want to talk to me afterwards and we can look at them. And we looked into different things, but there's specific requirements for the braille pieces. So there's different guidelines that we have to go through in order to make sure that the visually impaired will be able to read the braille on the tags.
Cool. I know embroidery is super expensive, so I have experience with the whole screen printing puff painting thing. It's cool, but thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for one last question. If anyone wants to stand up and ask that.
So I'm seeing one opportunity that, so it was mentioned about the cost of it. So what is the opportunity for the businesses? I would say it would be, so instead of just being on the side of telling what the color and so, be proactive about suggesting what they can get. So for the pieces that have that technology applied, put it onto a database, and then you can even get that into a shop, into your technology, so that they would know what to shop when there's something new coming up that work well for what they have, or don't go well with the pattern they already purchased. I think that will give you that revenue flow and also give the business another reason to get into the platform.
Thank you.
Okay, let's give a quick round of applause.
I don't know what I was doing when I was 16. Awesome job. And yeah, she does have samples, so if you want to stick around after and see some of the feel the color samples, is that right? People can check those out. Awesome. Well, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors at this time in between before we get to the second presentation. I want to thank, where's Michael? Where are you at, Bruner? There he is, Michael Bruner in the back. He does video production, so he's done video production and photography for all of our events. If you're interested in that, please go chat with him. Our venue here at the Dallas Entrepreneur Center. Raise your hand if it's your first time here at the deck. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming out. This is a great place to get plugged into the local startup community. And immediately following this event is a Capital Factory event, which is a partner with the deck. So you guys are all welcome to stick around afterwards and learn more about what goes on here, the different things they have with the co-working space, and different ways to get funding and things like that. So that'll be a really cool event right after this one. And then, yes, lastly, we'll have Series Coffee provided by our sponsor, driveads.com. And Madeline, I'm going to have her come up, share about 30 seconds about what Drive Ads is all about. And yeah, let's give her a hand and welcome her on stage. Take it away.
Thank you, Sheila. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope y'all enjoyed some coffee. It's absolutely delicious over there. My name is Madeline, and I'm with Drive Ads. We place advertisement on the side of 18-wheelers and box trucks, providing audience measurement back to our clients. Everyone knows that ROI is a huge deal. We want to make sure that everyone is being efficient with their ad spend. Feel free to come over to our table, ask any more questions if you may have any. We have lots of t-shirts, super comfy, nice to sleep in. Take one for one of your friends. We have lots of them, okay? And we have a little bit of swag over there, so it's a little more than a t-shirt. If you happen to see over there, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you again to them. Yeah, this event doesn't happen without our sponsors, so if your company is interested in sponsoring coffee next month or doing something like that, please come up and talk to us afterwards. And yeah, with that, we'll bring on our next presenter, John from Blockit. And if you want to follow them on social media, we've got the Twitter handles over here to my left. But yeah, let's all stand up again. Give a round of applause for John.
Thank you, Sherrard and Jacayla, for your great presentation. Well, my name is John. I'm from Blockit. We're a healthcare technology company in McKinney, Texas. And we believe that technology can create unprecedented improvement in healthcare. We've chosen to start with the appointment because we believe that it's the center of value exchange in healthcare, and particularly the referral appointment, because referrals are when care is escalated for a patient, and that is when it is extremely critical to manage cost, quality, and patient experience. There's 900 million healthcare appointments in the U.S. every year, and about 50% of those appointments are referrals. And out of those, about 45% of patients never show up for their referral appointment. That creates a big problem. It's not just a problem for patients and patient experience, it's a problem for the primary care providers who are originating referrals and who don't get paid if their patients don't have good experience. It's a problem for specialist providers whose revenue suffers if the patients don't show up. It's a problem for ACOs who struggle to manage the health of their population. And I'm sorry if I'm losing some of you here. We're kind of like a deep healthcare solution, but I'm getting somewhere. Ultimately, at the end of the day, missing patients are a problem. And for our pilot customer in Houston, Texas, they see about 47% of the patients they send for cancer screening mammograms show up. That's a big problem. If half of patients are sent for a mammogram and are eligible and don't show up because their doctor sent them for whatever reason, one of the things that we saw as we started digging into the research is that it was actually 31 days from the time the referral was originated to the time that the patient could get an appointment, an average of 31 days. I would ask you a question. If you had to wait 30 days to follow up on something your doctor said you should follow up on, how likely would you be to follow up? Our response to this problem is to create open table for healthcare, to allow providers to search by availability for receiving providers so that their patients can get a referral appointment in a matter of minutes. So if I were you, I would be asking a question, does this work? Does it work? Well, we believe it does. What we've seen is that we've created a 100% increase in patient follow-through by scheduling referrals. And we've seen time between referral and appointment go from 31 days down to 4.5 days. An absolutely monster improvement. And the best thing about it is that for patients who are waiting for an appointment at their doctor's office, they get their next appointment in minutes rather than days. Who's doing this today? Who's solving this problem today? Well, we all know paper. I have a piece in my hand here. That's mostly how referrals are transmitted. A lot of 6-way phone calls, fax machines, emails. It's an absolute mess. And one of the big problems is that the communication problems they're using to coordinate referrals now. Those communication problems actually create more work than they solve. They create more complexity in the patient experience because now somebody has to type in, upload, and download all this information. There's a lot of double typing, duplicate records. If you've ever gone to your doctor and tried to pull records, it can be a real mess. In fact, we believe it creates a negative value proposition if any referral solution doesn't originate on top of the program that providers are already using to manage their patients' care. So you would say, well, why isn't somebody doing that today? Well, there's 700 of those programs, and they really don't want to work with one another. They don't want to work with anybody. EMRs really have the system locked down. So what's our secret sauce? What helps us get around that? Well, for us, we have a novel integration approach, which allows us to interface with any software used in healthcare very inexpensively and quickly. I won't bore you with the details. So what is our go-to-market strategy? Well, we think that for the first phase, we want to kind of be anonymous. We're going to white label our product, our functionality, through referral management platforms because they already have 10 or 20 or 100,000 providers sending referrals. We're just going to give them the ability then to schedule those referrals as well. And we think that's going to create a huge difference. But phase one here is getting referral partnerships, referral management partnership here in Texas. Phase two is going out across the United States with that and creating more partnerships. There's a lot of things with payers and APIs and stuff. I won't bore you with the details. But phase three is really the exciting part because that's when we can release a patient application where they can actually search by availability, network, and location for providers that suit their needs when they need it. Ultimately, where we are at right now is that we're completing our MVP in Houston, and we're looking to release our partner API this quarter, which will allow us to go out to our first referral platform, and then we hope to onboard 10-20% of their provider population, sending, receiving, and scheduling referrals. So thank you for your time today.
So, as the first question always is, what can we as a community do for you?
Thank you. So right now we are raising our seed round of capital. We're raising 1.2 million at a 9 million pre-money valuation, and so that's really what we need. We have an awesome team. Our CTO is really strong. Our CEO is actually couldn't be here today. He's in Houston presenting to customers. So. That's really what we need at this point. The other thing we really need is introductions to clients who are really excited about what our technology can produce in their patient experience and who are willing to go on that journey with us because it's really a new capability. This is not something that's happening in healthcare. It can't happen today. This is very novel.
First of all, how
So, how is what you're proposing different from square appointments? And can you seriously imagine a primary healthcare provider is going to let a patient go out and choose a specialist when they've described an endocrinological or some other kind of highly technical problem to them?
Yeah, that's why provider-to-provider scheduling is so critical, because they can tag the appointment type and the provider and just allow the patient to choose the time. So that's exactly why our solution is the only one on the market today that can do this. Really, patients, when they start getting into the weeds of scheduling an appointment, can't figure out where to go or what exactly they need. And so provider-to-provider referral scheduling is how we solve that. Solutions like ZocDoc, DocASAP, Square Appointments, they're actually in the most cases not actually allowing patients to book into, they're marketing phantom appointments. So customer experience, very low. 50% of appointments don't actually happen. 50% provider attrition. It's a huge mess. They're essentially just marketing time blocks at best. To say, hey, you in your system create a block of time. I'll market that time and see if I can sell it. Then I'll call you or email you if I get a patient, and hopefully you've left that block open, and then we can get that hooked up. And if not, I send the patient a $5 gift card. So that's how our solution is different. Is we're actually reading their calendar in real time, filtering it through their rule set, and then actually allowing the sending provider to book their patient an appointment in the receiving provider's calendar. That's like not possible in healthcare today. ZocDoc is starting to be able to do this, but they can't do it by community, so they can't do it for referrals. They can only do it by specific provider groups, and it's a little more technical, but yeah.
So I think we're receiving a few alien signals over here in the air, so if anyone has a question, if they will just speak up and a little loudly, please.
Sorry, I didn't catch you. Who are you selling your product to, and how much are you charging?
Yeah, great question. So we're actually going to market our product through referral management platforms. So it's the basically glorified email tool that they're using to send referrals back, and providers are using to send referrals back and forth and communicate with their patients today. And what we'll do is just give them the ability to search and schedule on that platform. And then they'll mark up our service to the patient. And we're thinking it's going to be about $1 an appointment, plus $250 a month for the software connection charge.
So are you selling to an insurance company that already has like primary care physicians in their network and patients members?
Yeah, that's a big market. We actually have a meeting with United Healthcare on Monday. Because they're looking to control where their patients go. They want, if I send a patient out for an appointment, I know where they need to go. I need them to go there for quality and cost reasons. Stuff way more complex than you and I can understand. And so, yeah, they're very interested in kind of, they refer to it as ring fencing their patients, making sure they get where they want them to go. We refer to it as scheduling. So, yeah.
Just to kind of go on it, so are you looking at insurance companies first, or groups, or who are your initial targets based upon kind of what you found with your client engagement?
So our current customer, our pilot customer, is 2,000 primary care providers, and from that we could probably get a 1% market penetration of all providers in the U.S. So just from our current customers, so rolling out all of their providers. And so that's like our customer number one, and that's just our pilot. Our second focus is on referral management platforms. So there's 50 of them in the United States. There's only 50, and there's really 3 that are monsters, and they have most of the market share, I think like 30% or something. And so we're going to focus on selling, creating a licensing deal with those referral management platforms, and then allowing them to market out that functionality to the providers that are already on their system. And so they'll just go through like a process of upgrading from, okay, right now I'm just sending or receiving a referral. Now I can schedule or have a referral schedule, have a patient
So anyone
schedule.
can receive, you just have to sign up to send, right?
Actually, you got to sign up to do both.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I get, I guess, Steve's last name? I'd like to talk, how are y'all managing your data network? And, I mean, are you out of one of the data centers here downtown, Comar, are you in the cloud? Because there's a lot of HIPAA laws that you have to get through. So you're going to scale, you're going to go huge. So how are you going to manage that?
Yeah, so we're on AWS right now. We are HIPAA compliant. I mean, you would have to talk to him, I guess. But yeah, I can definitely share his information.
AWS, as you grow, you pay more. I mean, Snapchat's not going to ever make money because they're all AWS.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's joining, everybody's picking up more stuff, but they're paying more money.
Yeah.
So when you guys get big enough, you'll want to have your own rack.
Yeah. I'd be really, I'd look forward to talking to you about that.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. Yes.
Dallas-Fort Worth has two of the nation's largest breast cancer associations, the National Breast Cancer Foundation as well as Susan G. Komen. Have you talked to them to get their support or maybe even some financial backing?
We have not. That's a great idea. One of the challenges is like kind of eyes glaze over when we talk about what we can do because like people just don't know where to start. It's like it'd be like if Steve Jobs came to you in '99 and said you'd be controlling the world through a chunk of warm glass in 20 years. It would just like what would that look like? But that's a great. Yeah, we should definitely look into that. Yes.
So a lot of doctors use a referral pattern where they send a referral to someone that they trust or someone that they're well aware of, or if they send for a study, they try to use it within the ecosystem of maybe the inpatient hospital they're affiliated with. Do you incorporate any of the preferences of the physician so that, you know, if they wanted to be able to speak with a consultant or things like that, it's easier for them to do it if they have already sent consults to that person, to referrals to that person, or to be able to pull up images and labs from, like if it's within the hospital network. This looks like it may take the patient wherever the first availability is. It may not be easy for the doctor to have a line of communication with a consultant or to be able to access the records within the EHR that's within his network.
Yeah, so to answer your question, his question was, does it take the patient to the first availability? What if that's out of network? And that's a great question. That is a huge problem. We actually rely on the providers right now to manage their network as they are today, and we just focus on searching availability within that network and then allowing them to book the patient where they think the patient should be booked, or allowing the patient to book where within the parameters that the doctor sets. We don't manage network. It's like a whole nother world, and actually most of the time the networks are most interested in rolling this scheduling feature out just to their network because it really helps to keep the patients where they need to be.
So y'all are going to be, I use ZocDoc, but y'all are going to be more neutral in the fact that ZocDoc, although from here in downtown, they're trying to push me way up north. All around. I guess they have members. I don't know how they work, so it's not neutral in the sense that it doesn't serve me best. I want somebody around the corner. Are you guys, I guess, as a competitive standpoint, y'all are going to be more open at more people on your network?
Yeah, it's a great question, and if you give me 15 seconds, actually where healthcare is going is not good for consumers.
Right.
It's horrible. Value-based care in the hands of people with a lot of power and no patient interest is not a good thing. And so a solution like ZocDoc says, well, let's market appointments. Well, the people with the systems with the most money are going to pay the most to market appointments and drive patients to availabilities wherever they want. Our focus is on saying in 20 years, there needs to be democratized access to care where a patient can say, I can search by availability, quality, location, and network, and I can choose what's best for me. So I have a counter script to value-based care saying this is the cheapest and most efficient place for you to go. And so our solution is designed that we get market penetration over the next 10 to 15 years. Hopefully nobody knows who we are. We're white labeling, but ultimately we get connected to, 80% market density inside a city to their calendars, and then we can open it up to the patient to say, now patients can schedule in because now they can sort by availability on their own terms. But that functionality is not possible today, and that's why ZocDoc isn't the best experience, because they're actually not allowing you, in most cases, to book into real appointments. It's not real appointments at all.
So we got time for one last question.
I'm glad you recognize how sad the IT systems are in the healthcare industry, in hospitals. It's more than just poor IT systems, it's a train wreck.
Yeah.
So if you're walking in with a solution to a small problem and walking into a train wreck, great. Are you marketing that way? Once you get into the IT system, try to interface with these different programs, you're going to have a hard time deciding where to stop. Communication in general is poor between these different systems. Communication between the hospital and the doctors and the outpatients and the front office, is horrible. So are you marketing with that in mind, like this is going to be a great fix for a small problem in a train wreck?
Yeah, that's a great question. How deep to go? Because you'll see a lot of healthcare companies say, oh, we're going to start, we're going to roll out this improvement, and then they get siloed into this vortex of one health system that keeps them busy for 40 years, and keeps the solution onto themselves. And that's a great question. We're a technology company. We're fundamentally building a technology solution that will lay over what the mess that's happening, the 700 different EMR systems, and allow the functionality we think is most critical in healthcare across any system. That's what we're focused on. And that is where our mission starts, and it's where our mission ends. It's like once we find a critical path to achieve that, that's as far as we're going. There's a lot of other problems in healthcare that are really important to solve. But for us, it's just that referral appointment leading to democratized access eventually, and that we think is there's enough meat on that bone for a long time. 1 billion appointments at $1 a piece is quite a bit, just from revenue standpoint.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.
Okay, that about wraps it up. I have a few announcements here to close it up. But thank you again to both of our presenters. I love seeing the conversation that gets sparked from Q&A. That's really what it's all about. So again, if it was your first time here, thank you for coming out. We're here every Wednesday. If you're interested in presenting, you can go to 1millioncups.com and fill out the online application there. And yeah, it's kind of a logistical announcement. Immediately following this event, there's two things. One is the Capital Factory event right at 10. And then we have one of our past 1 Million Cups presenters is actually doing a special event. It's the Dumpling Brothers, if you guys remember them from the food truck event we did. They're going to be up on stage with Next Seed talking about how they raised their seed capital. I think that's at 11. Yes, that's at 11. So a lot of cool things lined up today. Usually we just go into networking and the open co-working after. But today we're going to ask people to, stay here if you're planning to attend one of these upcoming events. Otherwise, there's free co-working in the back. And is Sarah still up there? Anyway, if you see, Sarah's over there or Rachel's right there too. So say hi to them if you're interested in a tour of the Dallas Entrepreneur Center after that. And thank you again to all the sponsors, Drive Ads, and Series Coffee. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys next week.